When we think about a country like England, it kind of feels like it's just always been there, right? Ancient, almost inevitable. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is, well, it's a lot more dramatic. England wasn't just founded. It was forged, literally, in the fire of a century-long war between Saxons and Vikings. So let's get into it. Let's explore how this epic struggle actually created a kingdom. And that's really the core of our story today. It's a tale of total collapse, of desperate survival, and the brutal, bloody creation of a kingdom when all the odds were stacked against it.
Okay, so to really get how England was forged, we've got to look at what it was before all this kicked off. And what it was a land completely divided. Think of it like a patchwork of rival kingdoms with no single unified identity at all.
Right, so you had these 7 major kingdoms, what historians call the heptarchy. And they shared a common Anglo-Saxon heritage, they spoke similar languages, same religion. But politically, oh man, they were fiercely independent. They spent most of their time fighting each other for land and for power. And that division, that constant infighting, was a massive weakness. A weakness a brand new enemy was about to exploit in the most brutal way imaginable. And that enemy? Yeah, they came from across the North Sea. The age of the Vikings was about to crash down on the Anglo-Saxons with a force so terrifying it would literally shatter kingdoms.
At first it probably just seemed like a nuisance. A small raid here in 789. Annoying but manageable. But then came the attack on the holy island of Lindisfarne. I mean, this was an act of sacrilege that sent absolute shockwaves across the entire Christian world. The raids started getting bigger, bolder, hitting major towns. But then, in 865, everything changed. This wasn't just another raiding party. This was the Great Heathen Army. We're talking thousands of warriors. And they weren't there to just plunder and leave. No, they had come to conquer. And they were just devastatingly effective. I mean, look at how fast this all happened. 866, Northumbria falls. Just 3 years later, East Anglia is crushed. Its king is killed. By 874, the mighty kingdom of Mercia just collapses. Its king literally has to flee to Rome to save his own skin. It was like dominoes falling. One by one, the old Anglo-Saxon kingdoms were just snuffed out.
So, after almost a decade of this relentless, brutal war, only one kingdom was left. Just one. Wessex. It was the last bastion, the last line of defense for the Anglo-Saxons against what really seemed like an unstoppable tide. So yeah, the fate of the entire English people now rested on the shoulders of this one kingdom and its brand new, totally untested king.
And that's the situation facing this new king, Alfred. Think about it. He doesn't inherit a peaceful, stable kingdom. No, he inherits a desperate, losing war for the very survival of his people. The odds? They were completely, utterly stacked against him. And just when you think it can't get any worse, it does. Way worse. In the dead of winter, 878, the Viking leader Guthrum launches a surprise attack, right around Christmas of all times, and just shatters the Wessex army. Alfred barely escapes with his life. He becomes a fugitive in his own kingdom, forced to hide out in the swamps, the Somerset marshes. I mean, for the Anglo-Saxons, this was it. This was the end. The dream of England was over. But then, a tiny spark of hope. A local lord manages to win a small but really vital victory. Alfred hears about this, and he emerges from the marshes. He sends messengers flying across the land with one simple message: rise and fight. And you know what? Incredibly, they answer. Thousands of men rally to his banner at a place called Egbert's Stone. Just like that, Alfred has an army again. And he doesn't wait. He marches to force one final do-or-die battle. Now, to have any shot at winning this, Alfred had to rely on a classic Saxon tactic, the shield wall. Just try to picture it, a solid, interlocking barrier of wood, steel, and just raw human courage. It was designed to do one thing: absorb and push back that ferocious Viking charge. And man, did it require incredible discipline and bravery. So, at the Battle of Edington in May of 878, the Viking army just throws itself against that Saxon shield wall again and again and again. But it doesn't break. The discipline of Alfred's men holds firm, and the Viking army literally shatters against it. Guthrum has no choice but to surrender. And here's where Alfred pulls a genius political move. He doesn't kill him. Nope, He forces him to get baptized, and Alfred becomes his godfather, a brilliant way to make a rival into a subject.
But Alfred was smart. He knew one victory wasn't enough to guarantee the future. So he uses the peace he just won to completely overhaul his kingdom's defenses. He builds this whole network of fortified towns. They're called burhs. He creates a standing, mobile army that can respond quickly. He even establishes a navy to fight the Vikings at sea. And this is huge, he makes an alliance with what's left of Mercia and takes on a new title, King of the Anglo-Saxons. This is a massive shift. He's not just the King of Wessex anymore. He's claiming to be the leader of all the English people. So Alfred basically saved the Anglo-Saxons from being wiped out. But now it was up to his kids to take that foundation he'd built and go on the offensive.
And this next phase of the war, wow. It was driven by this brilliant and pretty unusual military partnership. You had Alfred's son, King Edward, and his totally formidable daughter, Æthelflæd, who was known as the Lady of the Mercians. The two of them, a brother-sister team, perfectly coordinated their attacks. They created this two-front war to systematically take back all the land the Vikings had conquered. And the years 917 and 918 were just a whirlwind of victory. It was incredible. While Æthelflæd was capturing Viking strongholds like Derby in the west, Edward's armies were just sweeping through the east. The Viking territories, the Danelaw, they just started to crumble under this relentless coordinated pressure. Tragically, right in the middle of all this success, Æthelflæd died. But her legacy was absolutely secure. Their joint effort had broken the back of Viking power right in the heart of England.
So, the work of 2 generations had taken back most of the country. Now, it was up to Alfred's grandson to finish the job. Okay, so by the 920s, there's only one piece of the puzzle left. The powerful, fiercely independent Viking kingdom of York, way up in the north. This was it, the final obstacle to a truly unified England. And Alfred's grandson, King Æthelstan, he did not hesitate for a second. When the Viking king of York suddenly dies in 927, Æthelstan sees his opening. He marches his army north at lightning speed, and he grabs the city before any rival can even react. And then, get this, he summons all the other rulers in Britain, the kings of Scotland, the princes of Wales, and they all submit to him, acknowledging him as their overlord. And that was the moment. The culmination of almost 100 years of struggle. After all the bloodshed, all the defeats, all the impossible, hard-won victories, the dream of Alfred the Great was finally real.
I mean, when you step back and look at it, it's just this incredible 3-generation family project. You have Alfred the Great, the survivor, who saved his people from being wiped out and laid the whole foundation. Then you have his kids, Edward and Æthelflæd, the conquerors, who systematically took back the land. And finally, his grandson, Æthelstan, becomes the unifier, the one who completes the vision and creates the Kingdom of England.
And so, England was born, not out of some peaceful treaty or quiet diplomacy, but forged in the crucible of war, over 3 generations. But this raises one last really crucial question. Because forging a kingdom is one thing, but holding on to it, holding it together, well, that would be the great challenge for all the generations still to come.